Hello.
Hello.
What is going on, everyone?
I'm really excited to be here. It is a Monday, which could also be a Monday motivational Monday. It could be an
Inspirational Monday, mindful Monday,
mindful
and
Monday. There
it
we
is
go.
the Monday rundown. Welcome in,
Monday
guys.
rundown. Super excited to be with you guys today. If those of you who are first timers to our Monday rundown, this is the day when we get to talk about all the things that Winston and I normally talk about off screen, but now we get to talk about it with you. And you guys have had some great questions. Keep bringing those in. Keep messaging us and letting us know the questions that you have. And then once we give our thoughts, we like to hear from other thought leaders, other content creators, get some input there. And so that way we can just all share in the wisdom and the knowledge. That way we can all try and grow and do better in life. So today is another one of those great Mondays where we're going to do just that. What is today's topic?
Let's jump into it.
Could your unhealed inner child be holding you back? You know, so anybody who's done a masterclass with me knows that whether it's self-sabotage, perfectionism, how to go from being unconfident to confident, you know that I feel very strongly about becoming aware of any messages that you may have received in your childhood that made you feel like you were a bad person, that you were unlovable, unworthy, any of those things. And so I do believe that there are parts of our inner child, those messages that we received when we were little, that if they're unhealed, these negative messages, these hurtful messages, what I would call shame-based messages, if they're unaddressed, people love to talk about healing them. If they go unaddressed, if they're not healed, I do believe they could result in you taking actions that create self-sabotage, which could ultimately have you hold yourself back from doing the thing that you were like called to do, or the thing that makes you really excited about life. So I definitely think like it should be something to work on for sure.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I'm going to say for sure, I think your unhealed inner child could be holding you back. The stories we tell ourselves. I know it's I know it's a big topic, especially in like the personal development space. About addressing just things that I don't necessarily, I know I've moved out of the space of thinking of them as unconscious beliefs. You're very conscious of a lot of these beliefs. There may be things that you repeat to yourselves. There may be, I definitely want to talk about that, the fact that it may be something that you say to yourself. I know when I was working with Tony Robbins and his team, one of the things that one of their coaches had us do is identify. Mine was called Freddie, but when you have a thought that's counter to something that you'd want to have happen, you would differentiate it from yourself. So giving it a character and another name. So it's like Freddie's driving the bus when I'm thinking things I don't want to think. But it helps you identify the fact that there's another way that you think that's counter to the way that you'd want, things to play out for yourself. So I know Freddie at times would would do things and not necessarily the most productive things. So I definitely know that this is something that you could, many of us probably still need to continue working on, but could definitely be holding you back from areas, not just with your business, but in your personal relationships. Especially you mentioned, Janelle, like feeling unloved and unworthy of love. It can limit you from really going and taking that next step with like a relationship that you're in with a partner. You could be limiting you in that area as well.
100%. Yeah. Love that. Gosh, I can go on and on. Please come to one of my masterclasses. We can take a deep
throw it in the comments below for that one. If you guys have taken Janelle's masterclass, let us know.
Or even better, I have another YouTube channel under the Be Well Queens where we actually are getting into a lot of that. So I will make sure to put that YouTube link.
Perfect. Thank you. You guys can check that out below with us. All right. So who are we hearing from today?
All right. So you guys out there know that we've become huge fans of the School of Life. They are really great at communicating certain ideas and ways of thinking in a way that I think are really tangible. And so we get to hear from them again today. I'm really excited to hear what they've got to say on the topic.
One of the most consistently confronting and at times embarrassing concepts that psychology forces us to consider is that of an inner child. All of us have along the years made such efforts to become adults, it can be at once grating and dispiriting to be told that there might nevertheless still be an inner child lodged somewhere within us. But in truth, we contain within ourselves a version of all the people that we have ever been. There is, in recessive form, somewhere in the folds of our natures, a confused teenager, a sad child, a jealous or hungry infant. No version of us ever entirely disappears. It's merely added to and buttressed, just like an oak tree that still contains in its rings the marks of all its former circumferences.
Wow.
Furthermore, if we follow the psychological thesis, some of our inner children are likely not to be especially well. They might be dealing with a hurt that they have no idea how to cope with. They might have suffered a loss without any chance to understand who and what is to blame. They might be lonely, distressed, or ashamed. Despite their pain, it isn't that the inner child's cries are in any danger of breaking through into the public realm. And that is precisely the problem. Inner children cause psychic distress not because they are too present, but because they are not present enough. They have been too effectively locked away. Their cries have been seamlessly forgotten and ignored. They've been pushed into a soundproof chamber from which no murmur emerges. And yet, still, they exist. We are dealing with unwanted, restless ghosts who have not been appeased or understood, but whose ongoing, ignored unhappiness threatens the course of our lives. The task ahead requires a perhaps even more grating and obtuse word: reparenting. The inner child needs to be identified, their distinctive troubles understood, and their pains soothed and becalmed. In a perfect world, it would be parents themselves who would carry out this work at the time that difficulties arose. But in the real world, some of the work gets left behind and lingers, which requires a bizarre-sounding maneuver to correct. We, the adults, need to become parents to the children we once were. We need to gather together our adult capacities for kindness, reassurance, empathy, and warmth, and direct these towards the 3 or 5 or 15-year-olds who still exist in our minds. We need to take stock of these young people's sorrows and help them in a way they were not helped at the time, in the name of helping ourselves right now, because we are standing on their shoulders and can only be as stable as they are. It is when we can directly imagine what a good and kind person might have said to us, and yet when we are simultaneously aware of how little anyone did actually say, that we might be overcome with compassionate tears for our former selves. We may register a trapped sadness that at last has an opportunity to be seen, worked through, and expunged. We might feel a lot lighter afterwards, and we might then regularly, perhaps late at night, repeat the exercise, revisiting our inner child and bringing them an extra dose of comfort and tenderness, so that they, and we, for we rest as a collective, might sleep more easily. We probably all know well enough how to treat real children around us. True liberation awaits us when we finally learn to treat the children inside us with as much tolerance, patience, warmth, and encouragement.
Oh, wow. I loved everything about that. And I have to say, like, I found myself getting emotional just even listening to it. I should go pull the book, but I just got a book that is talking about doing shadow work. And shadow work is just basically that. It's kind of like looking at things that you experienced when you were a child or messages you received as a teenager, like they said. I love the rings, like
That
a
was
tree.
such a great analogy. That
Such
was
a great
such a
analogy.
great analogy. Yeah.
But anyway, so I'm recognizing, like, as they were talking, like the things that you would say to yourself to soothe yourself, had there been adults around to like soothe you appropriately.
You well, this is such a, and I completely agree with everything you just said. Guys, throw it in the comments what your thoughts were on the video. It makes me think of something I would say about like looking at older people in age and recognizing some of their childish behaviors. And what that just helped me identify was it's their teenager may show up in situations for them because of some of the unhealed trauma from that what happened to them as a teenager. And
Yeah.
so sometimes when I'm interacting with people, I'm not able to, I would always just think, oh, they're being childish, but not in that moment recognize, oh man, what I'm doing could be triggering their child.
Yeah.
I'm doing something, and for this person right now, I should be maybe not empathetic, but compassionate in the fact that
Yeah.
there's something that's happened to them that in this moment they're showing up like this towards me, not but because they're in maybe feel fear in some sense of fear or something, and not being able to recognize that, or the way I recognized it wasn't as clear until I just saw that. So I'm
Yeah.
definitely grateful for that video because that was really big. Or and then to the point you just made, Janelle, how I can maybe help speak to myself better when I show up,
Yeah.
like my 7 year old or 9 year old self or teenager self when I run into a situation that he didn't get, have the best experience with,
Right.
you know. Man, really good stuff.
That was good. All right, guys, please put it in the comments. Let us know your thoughts. If you want to continue seeing stuff like that, please also let us know. Don't forget to
Definitely.
share this because when you share it, it tells YouTube that what we're doing is providing value and it'll keep spreading the good news. All right. So we're going to see you next week. But until then, as always, remember, you deserve a good life. Say that.
So that we'll see you guys. Peace.